Aloha, welcome back to the Sin Crew radio show. With the Sin Crew, we have Kapoku, Maria. Clark is here with her hula sister, Mohala. Welcome. Uncle Dan, who is our call wrangler for the day.
Yes, sir.
And he is quite a wrangler. He looks quite debonair in his chaps and slippers.
With spurs on them.
With spurs. Boy, does that paint a picture. Hi there, cowboy. Okay.
Paniolo.
Alolo Paliolo. Kumi the Wonder Dog is here presiding over all of this with Chris Trainer, the Boy Wonder, on the boards. And on the phone, we do have Kimo Williams, who was born on Oahu, went public school there, gang. He went to Aea High School. And, after graduating from Aea, came to the mainland, do some studying. And right now is in the Burbank area, Burbank, California, and is a practitioner with Danzan Healing, which is a collection of Asian and Hawaiian therapeutics designed to restore body and mind to vibrate health. Kimo, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for calling in and being part of our show today.
Good morning. My pleasure to do so.
Absolutely. Now, Kimo, looking at your website here, I noticed that the therapies that you do, the Asian Hawaiian therapies, how was that developed? It's a means by which you've taken some of the best of each of these schools of massage and therapies. How did that happen?
Well, it's a bit of a plate lunch, if you will, in that the the system that I trained in, which was developed in Hawaii in the 20s and 30s, is sort of a composite or an amalgamation of Hawaiian lomi, and a Japanese art called Seifukujitsu. Seifukujitsu is essentially a Japanese word that for all intents and purposes means to restore something back to its normalcy or to its wholeness. And so those techniques, however, are a little bit different than some of the traditional Hawaiian healing techniques. So the founder of this system sort of put, as many things that come out of Hawaii, sort of put a few things together, looked for what made sense to him, and then offered these types of practices in his clinic, which was on Hotel Street in the 30s and 40s. And actually, was handed down to his son, eventually got handed down to his grandson, and of which only passed away just a couple of years ago. So this was a lineage on Oahu for almost 100 years. And so the things that I'm able to do are to combine things that work from just basic massage into physical therapy, into acupressure, herbs, and things of that nature, to help people with their problem, and which is essentially pain or pain-related. In some cases, the pain is, as you mentioned, stress-induced. A lot of ailments are stress-induced. And one of the very first things that massage and deep massage was kind of scientifically proven to do was to relieve stress and to relieve those markers that stress is measured by. So.
And also to release feel-good hormones, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's the idea of touch therapy is pretty old. Many people consider it to be the oldest modality of healing on record, because it's almost an instinctual thing. When somebody you care about is hurt, what you want to do is hold them, touch them, stroke the area that got hurt, compress the area that got hurt, do those things that are going to, or that have shown to make a difference. Even if you don't know how to do anything else, that certainly makes a difference. And that's kind of documented even to the extent that children and developing babies are far better off just with human touch and with the benefits that just come from being held.
So, Kimo, you've trained in Tai Chi, Qigong, and you've completed 500 hours of Seifukujitsu program, and then now part of the Danzan Ryu Jujitsu Institute, and that in itself is, you have a great background in these studies to utilize some of the deep tissue body work for gentle massage, creative visualizations, and has helped quite a few people. On your website, quite a few folks have shared their great results that they've had when they've come to the institute, to your studio, and they've got some great relief from a number of the different maladies that they have been afflicted with.
Well, yeah, the main benefit of not necessarily in just what I'm able to do, but what other people all over. I can only assume that the people that are listening to this live all over the place and are thinking, to what extent might something like this help me? And the idea is that your body and its ability to heal itself is really all you need, but sometimes there are circumstances that require a little bit of help.
Sure.
And so while it's not a case of, well, I can't get better on my own. It's a case of you're going to get better on your own, and ultimately it's your body that's going to heal itself. But there are some assisting, techniques and measures that can be applied to get your body's own healing process to either become more effective, more efficient, or just a little bit faster, so that you can get there. And it doesn't always work. There's many cases where this type of thing isn't going to be sufficient, and your doctor's care is going to be helpful, and perhaps there's a procedure that will be more effective. But in this case, the side effects are minimal, the downside is minimal, the cost is minimal, especially today with healthcare and insurance the way that it is. And being able to help ourselves in a way that allows our bodies to heal itself is always going to be your first option, or at least should be your first option. And I think that people can check into stuff in their own neighborhoods that's similar, and at least look into it and try it, and may be very surprised as to how effective it could be.
For our listeners that have just joined us, we are talking to Kimo Williams, who is a practitioner of Danzan Therapeutics, which involves a collection of Asian and Hawaiian therapies designed to restore the body and mind to vibrant health. So tell me a little bit about the herbal and dietary recommendations. Now, Hawaiians call it la'au lapa'au,
Yeah.
and also the la'au kahea. Tell us about how that plays into the therapies that you do offer there.
Well, herbal healing is a big part of a lot of indigenous cultures, and along with touch therapy is probably one of the earliest found effective measures that cultures could learn in order to help each other and to heal. In Hawaii, it's la'au lapa'au, which is essentially medical, the medical use of plants and biological material. In Chinese medicine, herbal healing is one of the four main pillars of that practice, along with qigong and acupuncture and some various other styles. So for us, it becomes not so much a prescription of plant, herbal medicines that one might get, but more or less just some understanding of more generic dietary considerations for whatever your ailment might be. And for us, in the West, one of the big things is inflammation. And how inflamed are our cells, how inflamed are the different parts of our body. You can have inflammation in your stomach, you can have inflammation in your joints, and there are certain foods and other things that are part of our diet that are just inflammatory or excessively inflammatory in nature. And so one of the things we might look into or is what is somebody's average diet consist of, what adjustments can be made to it that will help with that, and then that in turn will, in the long run, have a significant role in, things like arthritis and tendinitis and gastrointestinal issues can be helped tremendously just by choice of foods. In Chinese medicine, it gets much more specific as to exactly what your ailment is, exactly what your environment is, what time of year is it, all of these things put together to come up with food and dietary considerations that will impact your ailment in somewhere between 30 and 90 days.
Kimo, what a fascinating journey for you as, coming from high school and ending up right now in a position where what you're doing now are helping so many folks deal with a number of the physical issues. And it even goes beyond that, because we were talking earlier about ponopono, which is relationship mending, the spiritual counseling, and the guidance as well. As we come to the close of this particular segment here, Kimo, if our listeners would like to learn more about what you do and what the Institute does, there's a website that they can go to, yes?
Yeah, it's Danzan, which is interesting. Just real briefly, Danzan is a Japanese pronunciation of a Chinese word that means Hawaii. So talk about kauna in the sense that you've got one hidden meaning stuck inside another translation of another culture.
Wow.
And so Danzan is a Japanese definition, or excuse me, a pronunciation of a Chinese word that was the original Chinese term for the Hawaiian Islands.
Well, you forgot the other part of that, Kimo. It's Danzanagi. Hawaiian Portuguese. You forgot the Portuguese part of that.
Well, it was, as we all know, it was the Portuguese who first discovered the Hawaiian Islands and gave it its name. So yeah, it's Danzanagi.
Kimo, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you, and we're going to just take a break right now, and we'll come back and talk a little bit more with you. We've been listening to Kimo Williams, talking with Kimo Williams, and please, is there a phone number for local folks here in Southern California? I know your studio is in the Burbank area that can call you directly.
Yeah, Ken. It's 818-427-9919, and the website was www.danzanhealing.com.
Give the phone number one more time, Kimo.
818-427-9919.
Absolutely wonderful. Mahalo, Kimo. We will be talking with you soon.
Mahalo.
And this is the Samurai Island Network Radio. We go back now to our music programming.